a dream last night that I had a DeLorean time machine. I was at some exotic locale and it looked incredible. I had the hat, the jacket, the hoverboard. But then I woke up.
And good afternoon or good evening. Welcome to Stat Boy Sports Bar here on the JEFF MEACHAM Network. Glad you guys are here. Much appreciated. No, I don't have the actual there I went. The actual opening. I don't know what's going on with the damned StreamYard thing, but for whatever reason I couldn't get the intro to load. So here I am. Cold open is what it is. Again, thank you all for being here. I know it's weird to not have Mikey center stage on this show. It's definitely different for me as well because I actually enjoyed sitting, over here for the last few months, being his Ed McMahon, for lack of a better term. But since circumstances are what they are, he's still in the process of doing his move. So you're stuck with me. Wah. Anyway. So I did want to briefly bring up, as I did yesterday, if I can just get the damn thing to load, that'd be super. But I will go ahead and try it over here. Come on, cursor. Why are we not moving? Okay, cursor, I need you to do. God, this damn dual setup is still very confusing to me. There we go. Okay. Anyway, as I revealed officially yesterday, I will be heading down to Huntington Park Saturday afternoon. I'll probably be there early because that's me. That's what I try to do anyway. To go see an old friend who I have not seen in now. It's been over a year. It's been a little over 2 weeks, more than a year, since I've seen Mr. Monday Night, Mr. Pay-Per-View, Mr. ECW, my buddy Rob Van Dam. So, and he and Katie are coming in for a meet and greet at the Wrestling Guys store down in Huntington Park. So, I am hitching a ride with my old wild buddy Travis, and we're going to head down there and see Mr. and Mrs. Van Dam, and see if we want to. I'm trying to get a hold of the store to do a live stream thing. We'll see if that plays out. Haven't talked to them yet today. To be honest, guys, it's been a very difficult day for me, and I know I tend to bitch a lot, but I've been in excruciating pain all day yesterday, pretty much, and now all day today. I don't know if I pinched a nerve or something, but something in the back of my right shoulder blade is just debilitating me. So if I sound less than optimal, it's because I am. Michael Gonzalez, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Anyway, so that'll be Saturday. If we do get a link up, hi, camera. Hi. If we do end up doing a live stream from the event, then the chapter of Big Gold I had planned for Saturday, which is still going to happen. I'm going to do that do that show on Saturday because there's just too much going on Sunday to try to freaking fit in yet another project. But one way or the other, I'm not sure what time it'll be if I do get the live stream set up, but one way or the other, we will feature chapter 4 of Big Gold, Enter the Dragon, over on the Twitter at Big Gold Belt 35. So be on the lookout for that at some point Saturday, because it probably won't be 6:05 Eastern, because that's in the direct middle of the event. So anyway, that's where we are with that. So let's just jump right into these power rankings because I do want to try to fill in if nothing else today. What the hell? Why is my cursor so stubborn? All right. So as you guys know, Mikey is very detailed on his rankings with the world of sports, and which is greatly appreciated. I'm not even going to front on that because I tend to not pay attention to the deets as I've been told repeatedly, but the deets are important, kids. So we have to make sure we keep track of those. So what he has done for me this season, as far as when he's reading them off, is he's I'm gonna sit up straight. Be a professional, damn it. Why is my camera so unfocused? Am I blurry? Is it me? Come on, wake up. Maybe. And I bumped it. Son of a bitch. I'm on, baby. Okay, that's gonna have to do it. Okay, anyway. So what I'm gonna try to do is read off what he has here for each team, and based on what I see, I will try to figure out what it all means. So what he's got here is we'll do the NBA first because he had the Major League Baseball rankings, but we did those last week and they haven't had an actual regular season game yet, so kind of not necessary in my eyes. But we definitely want to acknowledge the NBA and the NHL because they are very active, and the NBA was active this week more because there was no All-Star game. They're back in regular operations, so I did want to make sure I got to the NBA and the NHL this week. Okay, so bottom of the barrel, unfortunately for Mikey's roommate Miss Story, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves with a record of 9-30. Wow. Averaging 109.1 points a game, as what I think that means. And Mikey, if I'm wrong, correct me, please. Up next is the Detroit Pistons with a record of 10-29, an average of 107.3 points per game. God, I remember when 100 points average a game was like out of reach for these guys, and it's just crazy that it's everybody's above that in this day and age. It's bananas for me as a longtime sports fan. Up next in the next slot is the Houston Rockets with a record of 11-26, average of 107.2 points per game, followed by the Orlando Magic. I remember when I was a kid being such a huge Orlando Magic fan because of Shaq. Like, he's the next big thing. He's the superstar of the future. And man, it's crazy how far Shaquille O'Neal has come with his brand, right? All right, so Mikey is making it clear: wins, losses, and average points per game, which is exactly what I thought. So I appreciate the clarification, Mike. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate being in the chat too. But Mikey and Dory are currently handling household chores and whatnot. So that's why they're not. That's why he's not on camera with us today. But I do appreciate you being here, Mike. And Orlando's at 13-26 with an average of 104.6 points per game. Up next, the once vaunted Cleveland Cavaliers down near the bottom with a record of 14-24, average of 103.4 points per game. And then we have the Washington Wizards with a record of 14-24 and 114.6 points per game. Sacramento Kings, the pretenders of the king, the pretend royalty in California, with a record of 15-24, 114.8 points per game. All right, now the next 1, 2, 3 teams all have a record of 17-22. They're just ranked based on their points. Oklahoma City Thunder with a average of 106.5 points per game. Then the Toronto Raptors with 112.2 points per game. And the final team with a record of 17-22 is the New Orleans Pelicans with a record with a points average of 115.7. The next team has a record of 17-21. They are the Indiana Pacers, and they're averaging 112.5 points per game. Then we have one of my all-time favorite teams from at least back in the day, Doubles, Chicago Bulls, record of 17-20 with an average of 114.1 points per game. Then we have the Memphis Grizzlies coming in at 17-19 this week with an average of 111.7 points per game. The once Turner-owned Atlanta Hawks, which again we have El Gigante. We have them to thank for El Gigantes being in wrestling. So, gee, thanks, Hawks. They are at 19-20 at 112.7 points per game. They are the last team in the NBA currently at an under 500 record. They are under even strength as far as their record goes. Now we get into people that are even or better. We start with the Knicks in New York. They are exactly 20 wins, 20 losses, with an average of 105.3 points per game. Also at exactly 20 wins, 20 losses are the Golden State Warriors, and they are averaging 113.2 points per game, hence their ranking above New York. The next three teams are at 20 wins, 18 losses. First, we have Dallas Mavericks with an average of 111.6 points per game. Then the notorious Boston Celtics, which if you're an LA fan, you know what that means. They are averaging 112.2 points per game. And then just above them are Charlotte with an average of 112.8 points per game. Next up, at 20 wins, 16 losses, the San Antonio Spurs with an average of 110.2 points per game. Following them is the Miami Heat at a record of 21-18 and averaging 106.6 points per game. The next two teams have 16 losses, but Portland, has 22 wins, 114.9 points per game, and the WWE Staples Center Saviors, the Denver Nuggets, have a record of 23-16 and an average of 115.3 points per game. Next team from Milwaukee, the Bucks, at a record of 25-14 with an average of 119.7 points per game. The next two teams are the home team. If with JEFF MEACHAM Network, they are in Los Angeles. First up, the Clippers with a record of 26-15 and an average of 115.1 points per game. And then your world champion Los Angeles Lakers with an average of a record of 26-13, and 111.6 points per game. We are now, Lakers are the top five, so we're number 4 ranking this week. The Phoenix Suns with a record of 26-12 and an average of 114.1 points per game. In the third spot this week is the Brooklyn Nets with a record of 27-13 and a points average of 120.5. From what I saw, they are the highest points average of the week. So they have the most points per game in the entire National Basketball Association. So congrats to Brooklyn there. In the number 2 slot, much to my chagrin, the Philadelphia 76ers with a record of 27-12 and an average of 115.7 points per game. And once again, atop the Heat, I believe it's either the 4th or 5th week in a row here on Statboy Sports Bar, the Utah Jazz with a record of 28-10 and an average of 116.4 points per game. It's cool that Utah's on top for me this week because, as you guys know, I'm binge watching 2,000 episodes of WWF and WCW television, and they were just in Utah on Nitro. I think it was either early June or late May, and the mailman, who of course was at Bash of the Beach '98 with DDP, jumped in and helped Dallas during the course of Nitro. So it was cool to see the mailman on WCW television again. It was really cool to see. Tim Phillips from North Carolina says, sorry, I'm late, Jeff. To the bracket, are you going to be covering or have you covered college hoops yet? I do have Mikey's bracket loaded into the what do you call it? Can't think, brain not working. The stream here, I will be showing it momentarily. He did send a bracket and I did put, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that now, actually. Because I want to cover the NHL last because it's my network and I can. Let's see if I can do this without a freaking hassle. Okay, share screen. Come on, you shit. God, you'd be so annoying. Oh, I know which one it is. All right, well, hopefully it's this one. If not, we'll go back. No, I'm sharing audio. There's no audio to share. Stupid. And nope, not that one. Okay, now hang on. Just do it real quick here. Boop. Boop. Come on, baby. Stand by, kids. Did not work. It's not showing the same thing it was showing. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is Mikey's bracket for the NCAA tournament. First of all, let's not glaze over the fact that for the first time since 1995, Duke is not participating in this tournament. They did not qualify, which I think is just crazy. Because when I was a young lad, like I said, 95, I was not even barely 12 at this point of the year. Duke was the powerhouse, man. So they've unfortunately kind of fallen hard times. All right, I don't know how well you guys can see that, so I'm gonna go ahead and blow it up. There's that. Can I make this bigger? Because that'd be super. I don't think I can though. Can I make it? What does that do? I don't know what that does. Oh well. If you guys can't see the names, let me know. I'll see if I can blow it up a little bit bigger. Um, well, sorry, Tim. I didn't. Again, it's a lot of people are Duke fans. A lot of people are surprised. Anyway, so here's the bracket as Mikey has it laid out, and he swears he didn't mean to do this, and I do believe him because Mikey is a terrible, terrible liar. Um, he actually has Tennessee winning the tournament after defeating Oklahoma in the finals. So that's cool. Good for him. The entire bracket you want me to read off, Mikey? I mean, how many teams is it? Okay, whatever. I mean, it's your show. All right, so he's got and again, I don't know college basketball worth a shit, so you have to forgive me on this. So up here we have Gonzaga against I don't even know who this is, number 16, but he has Gonzaga winning all the way through to the third round where Oklahoma beats them after beating Missouri. So Creighton against UCSB, Virginia against Ohio, USC against I don't know what this which Drake, I don't know what that means. Kansas and East Washington, Oregon and VCU, Iowa versus the Grand Canyon, excuse me, Michigan versus I don't know who's facing Michigan. I'm sorry again. I'm sorry guys. I'm very ignorant on this. LSU against St. Bonaventure, Colorado against Georgetown, Florida State against UNCG, BYU against MSU slash UCLA, which I thought okay, well, um, anyway, Texas and Abilene. I don't know, guys. Again, I'm sorry. Connecticut against Maryland and Alabama against Iona. I wonder if I'm in Iowa there. I don't know. Cleveland State against Houston, Rutgers against Clemson, Morehead State against West Virginia, Syracuse against San Diego State, Liberty against Oklahoma State, Oregon State versus Tennessee, Georgia Tech versus Loyola Christian, Drexel versus Illinois, O. Roberts versus Ohio State, Virginia Tech versus Florida, Colgate versus Arkansas, Utah State versus Texas Tech, North Texas versus Purdue, Winthrop versus Villanova, which I believe is Ken's team, my brother-in-law's team. I'm not sure though. Wisconsin versus North Carolina, and Baylor versus Hartford. So there you go. Those are the teams in. He's got Oklahoma going all the way from the number 8 seed against Missouri all the way to the finals. So that's a bold statement of itself. He also has North Carolina going all the way from the number 8 seed all the way to the semifinals against Tennessee, who's coming out of the number 5 slot on their end. And he's got Florida State coming out of the number 4 seed, defeating UNSCG, Georgetown, and Michigan, which if you beat Michigan, I'm okay with you. I can S with you if you beat Michigan. That's totally fine by me. Any sport. So, all right. So there it is. If you would like to see Mikey's brackets more, in depth and in person, let me know or let Mikey know via Facebook, and we will definitely email you a copy as best we can. He has it on an Excel spreadsheet, and I remind him the same thing I remind JJ of, is that I need things in YouTube friendly thumbnails, and I don't always get that. It's not their fault, right? It just sometimes you just can't make it work. So I get that. I need to make this stop doing what it's doing so I can see it. I need a bigger cursor, or I need like a brighter color cursor or something. It's very annoying. Very, very annoying that it does that. All right. So let's do. Actually, let's not do this yet. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's you either love or you hate the Tar Heels, right? Oh, I closed the damn crud. I forgot to have the thing up for the NHL ranking. Stand by, guys. I know I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. Yeah, I really am. I'm not even gonna front because I'm not used to being the sports host guy. I'm just me and do my wrestling thing. So all right, come on, baby. Anyway, how's everybody's Tuesday going? I know I was on late last night, early this morning, doing my 811 because I forgot to do it again. I hadn't done it in a week, and I feel just awful that I'm not being more accountable. I didn't even set a goal this today. I've been in so much damn pain, and again, I know I sound like a whiny bitch, and I get that, I do, and that's fine. Um, but yeah, I am hurting for certain kids. So if I sound off or if I sound less enthused, it's because I am, because I feel like absolute poopy. All right, here we go. NHL power rankings, and again with Mikey's rankings, they are average. They are ranked by number of points, which equates to your number of wins, and then if there's a tie with the record, then you're ranked by your goals scored in overall the season. So at the bottom of the heap with a record of 6-17-4. They haven't even won 10 games yet. The poor people of Buffalo. 16 points, 58 goals scored, 94 goals allowed. Wow, that's bonkers. That's just crazy that they've allowed fewer goals than a team halfway through the rankings, but they're still sitting here because they haven't, Thing is, guys, if you don't score goals, you're not going to win games. It's really it really just is what it is with the NHL. You either score or you don't. Tim says I actually met a bunch of Tar Heels over the years, Jeff, and their best player in history outside of Michael Jordan was Tyler Hansbrough. Oh yeah, yeah. I've not heard good things about Tyler, so it doesn't surprise me. All right. Anyway, up next with a record of 8-17-4, 20 points, 64 goals scored, 97 goals allowed. They're almost in the triple digits of goals allowed. The once mighty Detroit Red Wings. Up next at the 29th spot with a record of 8-13-4, 20 points, 62 goals scored, 82 goals allowed, the New Jersey Devils. Up next, number 28, 22 points, 8-15-6 is their record, 63 goals scored, 95 goals allowed. They're almost hitting 100 goals as well, the Anaheim Ducks. And I'm going to be nice. Not my show. Next up, record of 10-20-2. They are the first team on the list going up with a a double-digit win amount, but they're at 22 points, 85 goals scored, 127 goals allowed. Holy shit, Ottawa! That's terrible. I think we're about halfway through the season at this point. 127 goals allowed at the halfway mark. That is terrible. My goodness. Anyway, I'm good now. Next up, number 26 with a record of 9-9-6, 24 points, 69 nice goals scored, 64 goals allowed. The Dallas Stars. Next up, number 25 spot with a record of 11-12-3, 25 points, 76 goals scored, 91 allowed. They're hitting that 100 slow but sure. The San Jose Sharks. At number 24 this week with a record of 12-16-1, 25 points, 71 goals scored, 97 goals allowed. Again, they're getting close to the 100 mark. Mikey's current residency, the Nashville Predators. In the number 23 slot this week with 26 points, a record of 10-10-3, 76 goals scored, and 76 allowed. So they're even with their goals scored versus goals let in, the New York Rangers. Number 22 this week, 28 points with a record of 11-10-6. We finally got more than 10 wins. 79 goals scored, 78 allowed. So they're pretty much even as well. My beloved Los Angeles Kings. Up in front of them at the number 21 slot this week, 28 points, 12, 12, and 4, with 70 goals scored, 85 allowed, the Arizona Coyotes. Above them in the number 20 slot, 29 points, 11, 12, and 7, 80 goals scored, 99 goals allowed. They're on the bubble. Columbus Blue Jackets. Next up, with 30 points, 14, 16, and 2, 14 and 16, 14, 16, and 2 record, 89 goals scored. The only other team with more than 100 goals allowed and 102, the Vancouver Canucks. Number 18 this week, 31 points, 11, 12, and 3, 80 goals scored, 85 allowed, the Calgary Flames. Up next at number 17, 31 points, 14, 9, and 3 is their record, 88 goals scored, 87 allowed, the Philadelphia Flyers. At number 16 this week with 32 points, an average record of 14, 8, and 4, 71 goals scored, 64 goals allowed, the Boston Bruins. Back to the Great White North with 33 points, 13, 8, and 7, 90 goals scored, 76 goals allowed, the Montreal Canadiens. At number 14 this week with 33 points, 14, 11, and 5, with a 92 goals scored, 98 allowed. The only team in professional sports with politically correct balls, the Chicago Blackhawks. And if you know, you know. Next up, at 33 points, 14, 9, and 5 is their record, 88 goals scored, 92 goals allowed, the 2019 Stanley Cup champion, St. Louis Blues. Next up at number 12 with 34 points, 16, 8, and 2, 78 goals scored, only 60 goals allowed. I think that's the that's the lowest on the list so far. We're going to get lower later on, the Colorado Avalanche. And number 11, the freaking Western juggernaut that they are, 35 points, 17, 8, and 1, 83 goals scored, 64 goals allowed. They are, 64 goals allowed. Dory's Minnesota Wild. And we're into the top 10, 36 points, 17, 9, and 2, 93 goals scored, only 80 goals allowed, the Winnipeg Jets. We stay in Canada with the next number 19, 36 points also, 18, 13, and 0, 103 goals scored. They are currently leading the league with goals scored, 82 allowed, the mighty Edmonton Oilers. Number 8 this week with 39 points, 93 goals scored, 80 goals allowed, the record of 18, 9, and 1, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Number 7 this week, they're still holding strong, even having to do COVID protocol again with some of their players. They're 39 points, 19, 6, and 1, excuse me, all the hell. 85 goals scored, only 57 goals allowed. They are the lowest goals allowed stat in the league right now. Bailey's Vegas Golden Knights. Number 6 this week with 40 points. Every team from here on in has at least 40 points. 100 goals scored, another high amount. They're over 100 goals scored, 87 allowed, and a record of 18, 6, and 4. The recent Stanley Cup champions, I think from 2 years ago, maybe 3, the Washington Capitals. Top 5, 40 points, 102 goals scored, only 79 allowed, 19, 16, and 2. My pick for the Stanley Cup this year, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Number 4 at 41 points, 98 goals scored, 64 goals allowed, a record also of 19, 6, and 2. The reigning Stanley Cup champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Number 3 this week, 41 points for Carolina, with 95 goals scored, 68 goals allowed, a record of 26 and 1. They are the only team in the league right now with 20 wins. So congrats to Carolina. I wanted to bring them up quickly because I saw Tim's comment. I'm a Hurricane fan. It's been the highs, lows for my team over the years. We've had great teams, and then the Heartbreak City other than one Stanley Cup, it's been up and down. You're right. And you know what? You had a tremendous captain in Justin Williams. And I hope good things for Carolina. I've always been a Carolina Hurricanes fan because Justin Williams was there. And I cherish him so much. So good job, Carolina. You're in the top 3 this week. Number 2 this week. Both teams in the top 2 have 42 points. Number 2 has 86 goals scored, 64 allowed, with a record of 19, 6, and 4. They are the New York Islanders. And your top team one less loss, 19-5-4, 99 goals scored, 81 goals allowed, ending the week at number 1, the Florida Panthers. There you go. There's the NHL and the NBA and NCAA coverage. And now we get into this weekend. So this weekend is a dual pay-per-view situation for myself here on the JEFF MEACHAM Network because I'll be covering both shows. We'll be doing Fastlane and we'll be doing NAA. Whew, I'm tired as hell. We will be covering the NWA pay-per-view, Back for the Attack. So that'll be, as I said, a very, very busy Sunday afternoon on the 21st. But we will be covering both shows beginning at, that looks terrible. Hi, at 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 on the East Coast. We'll be going on the air with the NWA coverage. It'll be a little bit of a pre-show type situation, but that's the plan as of this weekend. So let's get into it. The NWA, of course, is up first. They are starting at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 Pacific. And as of right now, and I'm going to double check the Twitter, if you will, because I don't want to be incorrect in my statements about what's happening. But as of right now, the NWA is showing that I saw 3 matches officially announced for this weekend's pay-per-view. And if you guys remember, it was a number of things that led to them not being on the air for a while. COVID, of course, was a huge part of it. They had some management issues, so there was that. Unfortunately, so they've had to kind of regroup after getting so much momentum. But they are ready to go. And actually, I see there's a 4th match announced, so I will go ahead and load that into the stream, and then we will talk about the pay-per-view overall. So the first match that I noticed that wasn't a championship match necessarily, but will definitely be a huge indicator of the future talent in the NWA is a fatal 4-way. Jack Stane and Crimson. Jax, of course, is a former World Tag Team Champion, a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Crimson, you recognize from TNA Impact Wrestling. He's also been behind the scenes helping out quite a bit with the NWA. He's a huge player there. And then making his debut with NWA is Slice Boogie. And rounding out the Fatal 4-Way is Jordan Clearwater, who has been a huge standout on the Primetime Live show that the NWA co-produced with United Wrestling Network. So it's going to be a really great, again, an indicator of the future type thing, right? To see where the future of the NWA brand is going in 2021 and beyond. And I tend to believe that we will see either Slice Boogie or Jordan Clearwater win. And if I have to, I literally have to toss a coin right now. I'm going to just throw it out there and say that Slice Boogie wins in his NWA debut. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. The next match featured for Sunday afternoon in the NWA is a number 1 contendership match between Thunder Rosa and Camille, with the winner getting a shot at the NWA World's Women's Champion, Serena Deeb. As much as I have adored Thunder Rosa's work in the last year plus during all this crazy shit and how much of a standout she's been, I gotta believe Camille is being groomed for the title and groomed for the future. She is a powerhouse. She has the look. She's got the build. She has everything going for her, except not having the championship belts around her waist yet. And I feel this is going to be the first step. Camille is definitely going to go in there Sunday and be the powerhouse that she is. And she's going to defeat Thunder Rosa and become officially the number 1 contender for the championship. Announced today, apparently from what I saw on Twitter, the Pope, the NWA World Television Champion, will defend against another member of Nick Aldis's stable, like Camille, Tom Latimer. Strictly Business, I believe is their name. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, NWA. I apologize. It's been a while. This is the Pope's first defense of the title since he won it on Primetime Live a few months back. So I'm going to say that because I think Camille is winning, I'm going to say that Tom is not, and I'm going to say the Pope will retain the championship. And then we get into the match. I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to this big time for a number of reasons. The 10 pounds of gold is on the line. The NWA World Heavyweight Championship, as Nick Aldis, the national treasure, the dealer, the man himself, defends against a man who I feel for the longest time has been overlooked in this business. And that's Aaron Stevens, the former Damian Sandow, the former Damian Mizdow, Macho Mizdow, whatever you want to call it. He has been an overlooked talent in the eyes of the mainstream wrestling peripheral media, if you will, right, Eric? I feel it's Aaron's time. Nick has been champion for over 2 years now. I think he hit 700 late last year as far as 700 days. So he's officially surpassed RVD's record as being a champion. Different circumstances, obviously, with those two reigns between Nick's NWA championship and, of course, RVD's ECW TV championship reign. But I mainly want to say Aaron's going to win because of his partnership with Josephus, the question mark, and the show being dedicated to him. I think it's a feel good moment that Aaron becomes the world heavyweight champion for the first time in his career. And I can't think of anybody on that roster, and this is not a slight to anybody else. They're all deserving of a shot or a reign or whatever you want to call it. But I think the most deserving guy on the roster right now, and has been for years, is Aaron Stevens. And I predict a new NWA World Heavyweight Champion Sunday afternoon. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So then we move on to Fastlane. And this show's kind of a train wreck. I'm not going to lie. Shane McMahon against Braun Strowman. I actually don't mind if this is the case, if this is where the blow off is, because I don't really think this needs a WrestleMania showcase, but I have a feeling it's going to. So I will say that there will not be an actual match between these two. We'll get teased with it. We'll get some sort of schmoz or whatever. But I have a very, very distinct, disturbing feeling that we're going to see these guys actually tussle in Raymond James Stadium in a few weeks. So that's where I stand there. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus, the battle of the former best friends, as Drew prepares to head into WrestleMania to try to regain his WWE Championship. I mean, I don't know if it hurts Drew to lose, but I do know it hurts Sheamus to lose again. So, I mean, we've said it so much on the air, especially Greg and I. These shows too close to Mania are just hindering everything. It's terrible. So I will make a safe bet here and say that Drew McIntyre is victorious in this encounter. Now, this one intrigues me very, very much. The scheduled listing, it says on WWE.com, is Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss. It does, however, say that Alexa has somebody coming to stand by her side to be her backup, whatever you want to call it. So, we got to get to The Fiend. We got to get to WrestleMania with Randy Orton and The Fiend. So Alexa will probably not get hurt necessarily, but she will likely be the fall guy in this encounter and make sure we get the awakening of The Fiend once and for all as we head into April 10th and 11th at Raymond James Stadium. So again, nothing would surprise me, but I have a very distinct feeling we're going to have Orton finally get the one up on The Fiend and Alexa here, if only for a moment. The Intercontinental Championship will be defended. This is intriguing to me as well. We've got Apollo Crews challenging Big E. Both of these guys have had a huge personality shift in the last few months. As far as Big E has become much more intense, much more serious, much less goofy New Day guy. But Apollo has 180 degrees turned around. He is what he should have been in the first place, a dominant, badass guy. And he's had the backing of Paul Heyman for a while, as far as on Talking Smack. And I cannot wait for this. And I really do believe we will see Apollo Crews become the new Intercontinental Champion at Fastlane. I do, however, think we will see Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax drop the titles here. to Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. We've seen the cracks in the armor of the champions, with Reginald being involved now with Nia Jax, and Shayna's just not having it. And Shayna's got Asuka on the brain too. Let's not forget what happened last night on Monday Night Raw. So I think we're going to end up seeing the final dissolution of Nia and Shayna as a team here, and we will see the WrestleMania opponents become the tag team champions. So there's that. And in your main event, regardless of who the special enforcer is this Sunday, either Edge or Jey Uso, you know Roman Reigns not going to lose the championship at Fastlane. It's not going to happen. He will remain the tribal chief, the head of the table, whatever cliche you want to use. He will, but Bryan will put up the best fight yet. I firmly believe that. Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan will not go down without a huge fight underneath him. So there is that. Very good. Predictions are done. Yay, I'm so happy. So I did advertise a shout out. And I realized as I did advertise it, I already did it earlier. I was going to do a shout out for Rob and Katie being in town this weekend, but since I already did it, I'll go ahead and throw it back up there. What the hell? Very, very excited to go see my friends. It's been, like I said, I saw Rob on the 29th of February. Yes, I said what I said. Last year we had lunch and brewskis, and we did that great podcast, one of the early audio podcasts for the JEFF MEACHAM Network a year ago. And I'm looking forward to seeing him and Katie. I haven't seen Katie since the Night of No Mercy 2017, when the two of them attended Booker T's fundraiser podcast. So it was cool to meet her, but I haven't really seen her since in person. She's awesome. So I look forward to this for sure. So shout out to Rob and Katie, and shout out to the Wrestling Guys store as well, down in Huntington Park. You can check them out online at the Wrestling Guys store, on social media, and on, I think it's WrestlingGuysStore.com is the actual website. I'll have to double check that in the coming days and properly plug that. But shout out to everybody involved there. I look forward to seeing you guys this weekend. Thank you all for watching today. I know, again, we're minus our star, and we are working feverishly to get Mikey all set up with Wi-Fi and everything in Nashville or Tennessee, so we can get him back on the air with us full time. In the meantime, don't forget tonight, 8/11, I'll be doing my accountability check. Even though, you know what, I take that back. No 8/11 tonight, because I didn't really set any goals for today, and we're only 3.5 hours out from that, so kind of silly. Tomorrow will be better. I believe that firmly. So we will work on tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, the Greg Cherry Show. And then, as I promised, the makeup for last week's lack of Wrestling Rewind will be tomorrow, as Hollywood Hogan battles The Rock from WrestleMania 18. That'll be tomorrow on Wrestling Rewind, special episode of Rewind on Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific. For now, I am Meech, and he's not here, but Stat Boy out.